my name is Noreen, and I welcome you in our next episode of the Essence Show. And today I have a really great guest. If I will start about his introduction, I think it will take around 1 hour just for his introduction because he did a lot. He is here for more than, I think, 30 years in Dubai. And he has his own company. And the best thing about him is not only a company owner, but he has a real experience of corporate world as well as an employee. So he has both type of experiences as a business owner and as an employee as well. So he knows the both type of pain. And why he is so relevant to our show because he has the same background about the marketing, and he is really good at performance marketing. He is a community organizer as well. He has a huge community for digital marketing guys in Dubai, and it grew up to 165,000. you know like I feel that all the marketing guys in Dubai are in that community. Even I am the member of that community. And more about him, he is author of 2 books as well. And you will be seeing him on the many shows, our podcast. So I will be telling you more about him. That he is expert of SEO, and his company is SEO Souq Free Zone LLC in Dubai, which he founded in 2016. And we will be hearing more about his story, that how he left his job or how he started his company and how it's going. And I have really informative questions that can be answered only by expert like our guest Kishore. How are you, Kishore?
Thank you very much for a wonderful introduction, and I'm so glad to be here and share whatever knowledge that I have with your audience. So it's a pleasure to be here.
So, Kishore, brother, can you please introduce a little bit more about you? That how you started your journey, how you switched from like a job to coming to the business. Like many employees they want to start their business, but they don't have that courage, that spark. So, how you took this decision to leave the job stuff and start your own business back in 2016? What was your like that moment when you just decided, no, I don't want to do job anymore?
Sure. This is something which is very common among people. First, they struggle with getting a job, and then you get a job, and then you want to move up to a bigger job, and finally, you realize after many years of working in the corporate place that there is so much that you can go, and after that, you want to do something of your own. So I too was at that stage in 2005 when I was working in Sachi as a creative director, and I wanted to do something besides Sachi also, although it was my dream job. After 3 years, I was kind of bored. So I started an agency called Eureka, and I had 15 people. I had a large office. But unfortunately, the 2008 recession came over, and we had to shut it down. But then I quickly transitioned into a digital analytics manager, and I joined HSBC. But again, after a few years, I was thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, and that's when in 2016 I started SEO Souk. One of the reasons why I wanted to start a company of my own was to build something, because at the end of the day, when you work in a company, you don't have a legacy. So I wanted to build something of my own and have a legacy. And that was my number one intention. Number two was I wanted to move fast and pivot and change and experiment things which I couldn't do in a corporate place where I was pigeonholed in a particular role. So I could only do one thing in a large company. And the bigger the company, the smaller or narrower your scope of work. So I wanted to experiment with a lot of things, and that's how I started SEO Souk in 2016, and it has been a wonderful journey ever since.
That's amazing. But life comes with package. Like you get something, but you need to pay something. So, like after leaving the corporate world as a jobian, you jump to the business, like as a founder of a business. So you started this SEO Souk. but how you manage the cost of customer acquisition, because it's really high in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So I feel that when you started, how you manage this, because my market is already saturated and acquiring even a single customer is really costly. And previously when you were doing job and as a such a high position, you were getting paid a good salary. So now it's like you need to pay from pocket and you need to bear the cost as well. So how you manage that all stuff, and what are your thoughts that how new business owners can manage? I'm asking for me as well because I'm a new business owner.
I'm glad that you asked this question, and this is a question which a lot of people have. In fact, 90% of startups don't see their first birthday. So, the first 12 months of any business is crucial for survival, and cash flow is prime when it comes to surviving. So, it really is a very challenging question. And luckily for me, I was starting a company for the second time in my life. The first one I had started in 2005, and I had gone through all the challenges of starting a company. I knew the perils of starting a large company and facing a recession and so forth. So when I started an agency the second time, I was very well prepared, because in the first agency I had the good feeling of what things can go wrong, and I avoided all the pitfalls from the beginning. So 80% of our time in the first year was spent on marketing ourselves and getting clients and building trust and using the power of social media, sharing stories on LinkedIn and Facebook and Insta and all the other channels, and building that brand awareness, which trickled down and converted into leads and sales. So that is the overall strategy. At the same time, if you're a new business owner, you might get overwhelmed by all of that. So my advice would be to have one core message, one core channel that you can work with, and one strategy. So that keeps you focused on one thing rather than going all over the place. So it's better to be very, very, very focused on what you're trying to do. We were very focused on LinkedIn from the beginning, and it was only after getting traction on LinkedIn that we moved into other channels. So, in fact, LinkedIn itself is so huge that you don't need another secondary channel to get business. So, my advice for new business, especially if you're in the B2B space, is to concentrate on LinkedIn and pick up most of your clients over there.
I love it. I love your response a lot. That branding belongs, or branding is that saying one thing for 1,000 times, not 1,000 things at a time, and staying on one platform first and mastering there, and then figuring out the other platforms, because each platform has the different algorithm to rank your profiles higher, or means boosting your reach. So you need to expert, or you know, to master in one platform and make some visibility before jumping to others, as else you will end up like nowhere. So that's really beautiful answer, and thank you so much. But you mentioned that uh, you should have one message. Yes, that's true, and it should be circulated like same way to overall to get some clients. I like this idea and I strongly agreed here, but I feel that doing business in Dubai and doing business in any other country is totally different, because any other country mostly there are one type of nationalities, but Dubai, because it's open for everyone and it's a really beautiful place to live, and it's best for security or other stuff, or supporting business owners especially. So here we have 200 plus nationalities. So how to share one message, and how it will be communicated or it should be conveyed to all 200 nationalities like same way. So how to face this challenge? Yes, please.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and my answer for that is your customer or the person who would give you business has got a particular dynamism and a particular way of thinking that really doesn't belong to a nationality. So they have a problem, and if you have the solution, they're going to come to you no matter what nationality or what ethnicity or what language you speak. So as long as you can understand what problems that they're going through, and if you can intelligently put across a solution which they will trust and they have not heard anywhere, or if it can make them think, then you have a great advantage. Because most of the thing that we see online, and now especially with the arrival of Gen AI, there's hardly anything which can make you sit down and think. So creating thought provoking content is extremely challenging, because anyone can rehash things, and you can use AI to rehash more, but it's not going to make your target audience sit up and take notice. More importantly, it's not going to make them think. And to make them think, you will have to bust some myths. So for example, one of the myths that we have here is that we have multiple nationalities, so we need to have multiple messages. But in reality, you need one type of marketing message, which is solving a problem which is cutting across ethnicities, and it is trying to solve a problem that the person has. So in our particular case, we are speaking to marketing directors of large companies which are already working with 6 or 7 agencies. So they could be working with a PR agency, they could be working with a creative agency, they would have a legal team. So they have multiple agencies working for them all the time. And then they want an SEO team to look at their SEO work. And then you also have a content, social media agency, and all of that. So juggling all these multiple agencies and having a brand message which syncs across all of these different agencies and platforms is a big challenge for many marketing directors. So that is what we solve, and we do it in a measurable way through analytics. We create dashboards which the marketing team can have a look at, and they can see the progressive growth, and that builds confidence. And once you're able to demonstrate that, then actually people reach out to you and they want to sit with you and discuss with you and understand more, because this is not commonplace. Although it might sound simple, it's not something which everyone is doing. So that builds a lot of value for the customer, and when you bring value to the table, it also converts into trust, and trust converts into business.
That's amazing. So, you talk about the Gen AI. Yeah, this is so true that after AI, things changed a lot. Trust me, a lot. So, now the next challenge we are facing, previously we were doing really less on social media and we were having huge organic reach. But all of sudden, all of social media platforms, I don't know what happened that now we have not that reach type like the previously we were having. So I strongly believe that AI affected, or maybe all of a sudden these social media changed their algorithms. So what are your thoughts about this?
So fundamentally, this is something which I've been hearing for the last 10 years. Even when social media was taking off, people were saying that in the past they had good reach and now things are not working. So I think that is something of a perception which all of us have. And probably if you look at stats, that might not be the reality. Secondly, what I feel is if you're very authentic about what you're trying to do, then you don't have to fear AI, or you don't have to fear your competitors, because there's only one you, and the other person, no matter how good they are, they're not you. So as long as you can be a strong personality, and you can show your personality through your writing, through your podcast, and through your videos, there is very little that others can duplicate what you are trying to do. So give you a very simple example, just go to any large website, you would be surprised the amount of stock footage and stock images that is being used on websites, and that really doesn't go well. Even if you are a small company, if you put the photograph of the CEO, the CTO, the decision maker, the actual photograph of the team, and so forth, suddenly you might be small, but you are very authentic, and that builds a lot of trust. Now, if you're a large company, you should never use stock footage or stock video. You should actually do a proper photo shoot, a video shoot, and use that, because you're a large company, you have the budgets to do all of that. So, using stock footage, I guess, is one of the silliest mistakes that anyone can make.
So my next question is that even we start with the paid ads. to bring the leads. But I noticed one more thing, that there is quality missing somewhere. Means there is quantity, and but that's a not that we can't call them quality leads. So they are not the people who are actually going to buy or will be agreed to buy the means as per our expectations. So how you explain this imbalance of quality versus quantity? Because I see that our marketing campaigns sometimes they hit, but we are not getting quality leads at all. So how to manage that?
Yeah, so marketing per se is more of eliminating an audience which is not really relevant to your brand as much as it is attracting a lot of people. So it should be able to do two things smartly. It should be able to attract a lot of attention, but it should also eliminate people who are not ready to make a purchase. So having a marketing message which kind of works like a funnel in eliminating all those people can solve 90% of the low quality lead issues, but it's not something which can be done quite well, especially because most marketers are not experts in psychology. So you need to apply a lot of psychology to eliminate all of the people who are not really interested in what you have to sell. So, to give you some concrete examples, when you work with companies in the retail spectrum, and
Yes.
especially if you're working with females who are looking for lipsticks,
Yeah.
for example, you can eliminate a lot of people who are just window shopping and who have the ability to purchase and so forth simply by using technology and finding out people if they have made purchases in the past. So the elimination there is quite easy when you don't want to speak to people who have not made a single lipstick purchase in the past 6 months. So technology can do a lot of elimination.
So can you just share your secret that how you do this?
The platforms have all these inbuilt tools to do that. It's just a
Okay.
matter of discovering the possibilities of these platforms. And I think the platforms have not really done a good job of explaining how to use all these platforms.
Yeah, that's so true. So so how's your means what's your method to just differentiate in quality uh, among the quantity? So how you just drop the low quality people?
It's a matter of building up audiences in
So how's your funnel usually?
the funnel is built into the marketing message, as I said. A physical funnel is easier to do, but the difficult one is to create a psychological funnel, and that is done through your marketing message, number one. And you can of course use technology, as I said, using an audience and an affinity audience within Meta or TikTok or Google can easily eliminate all of these people who have not made a purchase in the past. That's the easier thing to do. But the tougher thing would be like if you're selling a large ticket item like a CRM, and multiple people are involved in the purchase decision. There you will have to eliminate an entire committee in order to make a purchase. So there it becomes slightly more complex, and that's where the psychological funnel would work quite well over there. So you won't be able to use technology to eliminate people who have not made a purchase, because you'll not be speaking to people who have made a CRM purchase in the first place. So it gets a little bit more complicated over there. That's my advice.
So I have another relevant question. I hope you are not getting bored with my questions. Is it fine? So the next question I have is how to have good ROI, return on our investment, because as I said that our marketing campaigns or our advertising campaigns are actually getting really costly. So making such expensive decisions, bearing such expenses, huge expenses of marketing and advertising. So how to get more benefit of it, like how to get or how to improve our ROI?
Yeah, so this is a very common challenge that all advertisers have. And in fact, if you look at stats, 90% of advertisers don't make an ROI from their campaigns. So it means most of the people are in the same on the same boat of not making any ROI. So the people who are making an ROI are actually not starting from marketing; they're starting from producting, wherein they have products which have very distinct features. They have a USP, and they are operating in a blue ocean. So if you are in a red ocean and you're trying to differentiate with on a price, um, or something which is not very relevant, it's very difficult to get an ROI. So step number one would be to find a blue ocean for your product, which means repositioning your product with a new message, with a new USP, so that it looks valuable to the customer in their eyes. And then you would come up with a marketing message which can support all of that. And then using all the tools available, primarily Google Analytics, which is what most people don't look into. Google Analytics and Google Search Console can solve a lot of issues, but many people are not aware of its existence. It's free, and even people who are aware of its existence don't log into it. So I would suggest seriously going back to these tools and having a look at analytics and taking clues from there.
Yeah, go back to basics and just learn from your own insights. So amazing. Yeah. So when I talk about that Dubai is fast, our overall UAE is fast. So there is another challenge we face as a company owners because okay, I'm here for 3 years only, but you already have a huge years, like huge experience as a founder, as a already professional. So my question is that how people manage, like people like us, how they manage this short turn span, attention span of the people. Because one thing, our target audience is super busy. They don't have time for social media at all. The second thing, when they have time, or they scroll or they are on social media, first they are not, but when they are, so they don't have time to just watch. So how to make our content, especially our ads, because we are spending a lot of money on our ads, so how we can make our ads to stand out. And because we know that first our audience don't have time to scroll social media, second they have lots of stuff to watch. So how to make our ad interesting or stand out to get more return.
Yeah, sure. So that is a very good question, and the problem that they have is the opportunity. So since they don't have time to do a lot of social media on their own, that's when they think of hiring a social media agency, and that is precisely the point you are trying to cut across through your campaigns, through your ads, through your podcast, whatever ways you are trying to say that. And if you can put that in very creative way, then people will always listen. So you'll find that people will spend 3 hours in a theater watching a movie, and that is because it's very interesting. And probably during that 3 hours you might forget to look at your mobile. You might just sit there and watch if the movie is very, very interesting. And that is because they have created an environment which is so intriguing that you can't leave. So if you can make someone sit for 3 hours, you can definitely make them sit for 30 seconds. And it's just a matter of applying our creativity and our thought on what you're trying to convey. And I'm sure people will be able to crack that.
Break. And I will not be asking all the boring questions because I know that there are a few guys who will be marketing guys and they will be loving this podcast overall. But there will be still people who will be maybe loving me out. So I will ask a really personal question because I know that you wanted to ask this question: how to manage a life here, because you are managing a huge community as well, and I see that there is not even a one single spam post at all. You manage it very well. So do you have team for your managing your communities as well as your businesses, as well as your family as well? Means you are a father, you are a husband, and you are a business owner, you are a community organizer, you are always on all podcasts, you are always on all events as well. How you manage as a human, how you manage your time?
That's a very interesting question. So, definitely, I have a team for my company to manage the campaigns and analytics and reports and all of that. But for the community itself, I don't have a team because all of that is being managed by Meta itself. So, Meta has a lot of AI tools within the community, which is eliminating a lot of spam and removing the spammers and so forth. So the community runs its own. Plus, we have enthusiastic
Wow.
members
Wow.
who are supporting and who are posting and doing a lot of live sessions and all of that. So the community is running on its own. And now coming back to time management, yes, it is difficult to manage a business as well as a personal life and so forth. My wife is a YouTuber and she has a cooking channel. So on
Wow.
weekends we spend time shooting the videos on cooking and all of that. And my eldest son is already working in Dubai Media City, and second son is in school. So the eldest son is already on his own career journey,
Wow.
and the second son is in still in school. So we support him with his education and all of that. So it's fun to have a lot of things going on at the same time, and plus we also have the monthly meetups happening for the community. So it kind of keeps all of us happy and healthy and dynamic.
The way you are saying that all is automated, such huge communities automated, and you are always like as a human, you are always present in the meetups as well and the conferences as well. So you just made the best use of technology. Well, I have another question. Like it's emotionally and mentally, I feel that our audience can relate this. That it affects like new founders as well as the people who are into marketing and advertising. I feel that overall market is getting saturated, especially in Dubai, because everyone is coming in Dubai. Everyone is, at least I see that everyone is actually starting this marketing company, and now service providers are more and clients are less. I feel like this. And then about message, you said that I think everyone is saying the same message or conveying the same message. So how to believe that who as a client, how to believe that who is authentic and who is fake. The second thing is that as a founder of a business or as a business overall, how to find the client or how to convince them that yes, we are real or we are the best. Like you already have years of experience, I already have years of experience, so but still I feel that there is a really huge competition in this saturated market. So how to overcome that?
Came to Dubai many decades ago. People were saying that it's very difficult to get a job. In the past, it was quite easy, but nowadays things are saturated. There's hardly any job, and this was 30 years ago. So 25 when I came to
Oh my
Dubai,
God.
and I keep hearing the same thing that the market is saturated. There's no opportunity and so forth. So I think this is a common perception that most of us have, and we feel that there are thousands and thousands of agencies. If I start one, how am I going to get business? But the reality is that if you sit with a client and really understand what they are trying to do, you'll find that there is immense opportunity to improve their business. So if you start from their Google Analytics itself, you will see that no one has logged into it. If you look at their website, you will see that the designs are outdated. There is so much coding problem and the back end, and no one has updated that. There are no backlinks. Competition is doing much better. So there's a lot of talk, but when it comes to actual deliverables, very little work usually gets done. So people like to spend time on presentations and meetings and sales pitches. But when you go to the actual kitchen, the creative kitchen, and try to get things done, you'll see that even a large agency will have a very small kitchen, and only a few people actually operating from the kitchen. So it means at the end of the day, the deliverables will always be very low, and that is the reality that you will have to accept, which means that if you go in with the promise to do something better, and if you do the work and you improve it, the client will always be happy to pay you and have you on a retainer for a long time. So from the outside it looks like a forest, but when you come close you just see the trees, and you'll find the way through the trees, and you'll be able to navigate. I guess this ecosystem is large enough for anyone, So the lion can also fit into the ecosystem, and so can the deer, and so can the ant. So it just matter of finding out what stage you are in your life and finding your own set of clients and your small ecosystem, and you'll be able to survive and thrive in.
more people in this forest as well. So they are lowering their rates. And when more people are lowering their rates, it's really hard to get a good price at all. So actually, closing clients is becoming hard. And closing clients, I don't mean that small fish, like big fish, like the client who actually appreciate our work or pay us the reasonable price. When it's about B2B, like there is a company who needs website and there are a company who wants to build their website, and they both need each other. This is true. But how to convince them that you can do this and you are the best? Like you gave the example about the small kitchen. Are you because that kitchen is actually their source of income, and they're not spending good on that one, and they are just showing all the outside is really great restaurant, blah blah blah, but at the end their kitchen should be fixed properly. So now you are the best service provider, so you deserve a good price as well. But how to convince the end client to pay you good money? So my question is that how you just close the deals.
Yeah, that's a very common question that I get a lot. And the ground reality is that the customer is not thinking, or they are not operating from the realm of thought that we have. So we feel that the customer knows, or is going through the same process that we are going through. But that's not really true. They are in their own world, they have their own problems, their own challenges. And the website would not be a big challenge for them. So if you really want to crack large deals and large opportunities, you would have to really find out what is making them to change the website in the first place. There could be a reason for that. And if you find that reason and you try to analyze that and sit with them and find a bigger picture, you will have a bigger solution for them. And the website would be just one piece of the puzzle in that larger change that they are bringing about. So you would bring value to the table by looking at the big picture and trying to fit in their overall scope of work, rather than trying to compete on a price on a website. And this is precisely that we do with all of our prospects. So number one, we are very careful to take on only prospects which will tick all the boxes for us. And number two, even if they come to us with a very small thing, we are not analyzing that small thing. We are looking at the big picture and trying to find out why they want to make that small thing and what is the motivation to do that. And obviously, you will end up with something larger which they are trying to do. And they just thought of reaching out to you for the small thing. So when you go with a package which solves all of their problems, suddenly it's the first time that they are discovering that there is someone out there who is able to think on their behalf and come out with solutions for problems which they didn't know existed. Now suddenly you are making them think, and now you are also building a lot of trust because you are thinking on their behalf. And then they would give you a big project, and the website would be just a small portion of that big project. And obviously, because you are giving the full solution, there is no one else that they would be able to work with, and you would be able to charge larger amounts for your website. So obviously, that would be the best way forward.
That's true, and I strongly agreed with you in the second part of your answer. I noticed this thing that in Dubai, if a person work with you and he tasted your medicine, okay, he will not go anywhere even he dies. Okay, he will always trust you only, and he will be keep working with you only. And after closing a client, and after giving him any small service first, yes, he is not going to go anywhere else ever, and he will be keep recommending even his friends to you. So this is the one thing I noticed personally in Dubai, that if you win some client, Now this is your client forever. But I want to go first side of your answer or the little one step back. Okay, how you manage it? If you don't mind, can you just share step by step secret of you, please?
Sure, I can definitely share my process, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to duplicate that exactly. Of course, you'll have to apply your own strategy to it. So our process from the beginning was to come up with interesting marketing ideas which will appeal to CMOs and marketing directors and CEOs and make them take notice. And that is kind of valuable because there is very few people who come up with content which makes the target audience sit up and take notice and think. And as I said, to do that, you will have to bust some myths. So, for example, if you would go and write something on LinkedIn which says three trends which are happening in digital marketing. Trend number one, AI is here. Trend number two, um, programmatic, and number three, GEO is taking off. That is not something which is going to make the target audience sit up and take notice. You will have to think deeply and understand what are the challenges that they are going through and how you can bust some of the myths that they have in their ongoing thought process. So if you can do that, then you can get their attention. So the number one problem is kind of solved. So it's not very focused on trying to convince someone to work with you. So if you try to do an ad which says, give us your SEO campaign and we'll do great work, we will rank you on the front page of Google and all that, that is something which a thousand other agencies can easily duplicate. So there you are creating a lot of competition for yourself. But at the same time, if you put out content or put out ads which are talking to the problem of the customer and you're able to intelligently solve that, that's not something which everyone is doing because that's tougher to do that. So people always revert to easier stuff and try to take the help of technology to solve your problems. And most of the time, technology won't be able to do your thinking. So I guess spending a lot of time thinking about your customer, thinking about their problems, and thinking about how you can help them is a key to customer acquisition, which is not something which a lot of people do, especially if you're in a meeting and you're trying to brainstorm ideas and so forth. That's not the route many people take. So immediately you are in a small blue ocean of your own. So that would be the strategy number one. And strategy number two would be once the customer raises their hand and they say they give you a call or they ping you or they message you and say, hey, we saw your post or we saw your ad, we think it's interesting, let's have a chat. And definitely you would have a call or an online meeting, and in 30 minutes you would be able to understand the entire background. So for example, if they have Google Analytics, that's a tick box. That's a box ticked, meaning that they have something to start off with. And if there is data in the Google Analytics and you are able to see from that data what they have done in the past, that's a very good indication that whether they work with you or whether they don't work with you, they still have something going on. And that is a baseline which you can understand how much they're spending on their campaigns, what kind of ROIs they're getting. Are they on social media? Are they on the programmatic? Are they doing SEO? Are they doing content marketing? People can do a lot of talk, but when it comes to numbers and hardcore numbers within Google Analytics, you can't fake that and you cannot fuzz around with all of that. Numbers are numbers. So looking at those numbers will give you an accurate picture of what that client is or prospect is doing. And when people push back and try to hide analytics, if they don't share data and all of that, then that is an indication that probably they're trying to fish around and find ideas or agencies that they can take advantage of. So unless you have access to Google Analytics or the reports, you're probably not going to work with them. And once you have access, they have passed on all the power from their side to you. So it's like a cancer patient going to a doctor and giving their X-ray or MRI report to a doctor. Now that patient can't hide anything because unfortunately all the data is now in the doctor's hand. And if you're a good doctor, you would immediately understand from Google Analytics that this is the problem area that they have and this is the solution. And you would give them a report saying, hey, you're doing XYZ wrong. We are going to sit down and we are going to solve this, and this is the ROI you're going to get. This is how much it's going to cost you, and this is the proposal. So it's a straightforward, numbers driven talk from there onwards. And either they buy into that logic or they don't buy into that logic. If they don't buy into that logic, then probably there is something going on over which you don't have control, and it might not be worthwhile for you to continue. Now, if you're hungry enough and you need that business, then probably you'll try to explore more and see why they don't want to go forward. Is it the pricing, or is it the positioning, or is it the strategy that you have discussed which is not fascinating? And you try to solve all of that. In our case, we don't do that much. We look at the analytics, we spot the problems, and we recommend the solutions, and then we let them take a decision. So we have clients who have come to us after 3 years of a discussion. They went with their agency, they worked with 3 years, they had a lot of problems, and they finally discovered, okay, now we need to solve this, or we might be too late. So we have the time on our side, so we let them, take a decision, and we don't pressurize anyone to work with us. So probably that would be a good strategy for many of our audience.
That's amazing. Okay, numbers can't lie. So I agree with this. But before asking my question, a relevant question with this one, my question is that you said that you are preparing the reports as you are SEO company. So you are checking their analytics and you are preparing a report and telling them that what issues they have or what is your proposal to fix them, and this is your cost and this is this. So I just noticed that, and you know this already because you mentioned that there are guys who just took your idea or proposal and then they just ghosted for 3 years and then coming back again to you. So as a new company, or the new founders, when they face this challenge, it's really not affordable for them. Yeah, as a old business, it's really easy maybe for you, but maybe one day you were in that shoes or on that stage or that phase where you are just going through everything of the prospect and just telling them that this is the problem, this is will be cost, and like this. Okay, but they are taking your strategy, they are going for some cheaper and asking them to implement. I know that they are not going to succeed, they will fail, they will come back to you, it's true. But until they will not come back to you, you can't wait for those clients for 3 years. Yeah, as a new business, at least you can't. So how you manage that phase of life as a business?
So there are two questions in one which you asked. So one about the
I will ask my second question later, so you can answer one.
inside this. Okay. So one about giving away your strategy to your prospect. You never give away your strategy. You always identify the problems factually, and you tell them that once you start working, once you have a contract, we will be able to overcome that. And these are some of the ways which we might explore. Obviously, you wouldn't give away all of your strategies, or even when you work with them, you wouldn't do that. You would do that through the deliverables, and you have them enjoying the fruit without really showing them what is happening. So that is number one. Number two is, yes, you wouldn't be able to wait for 3 years to get your first client if you're starting off. So this is why you need to really take advantage of the one thing which all of us have access to, which is advertising. So ads are plentifully available, and this is one thing which Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, or any other channel will happily give to you. So if you pay money, they will give you impressions, which means it's not something like you pay and you wouldn't get. When you pay something, these channels are happy to give you as much impressions as you want. So it is left to you to convert these impressions into clicks, and these clicks into leads, and leads into opportunities, and opportunities into contracts. So all of that is over there, is lying there. Whether you take it or not, someone is going to come in and do that. So if you're hungry, if you're starting off, and if you want to take advantage, that would be the fastest way to gain traction, which is to run ads with multiple messages, experiment with that, and try to see why you're not getting clicks. If you're getting clicks, why you're not getting leads. If you're getting leads, why you're not getting appointments. And if you're getting appointments but not contracts, analyzing why your appointments are not converting into uh, contracts. So if you analyze each stage of your funnel and you rectify that like a mechanic, you are obviously going to end up with a sale. The problem is, many people, they want the easy route to either get business without spending money, or they want to spend money but don't take the time to fine tune their marketing message. So a lot of laziness is inbuilt into all of us. But I guess an entrepreneur who's starting off cannot afford to be lazy, cannot
Yeah,
afford
not
to,
especially not in
yeah, they
Dubai.
cannot afford to take it lightly. They cannot take their foot off the accelerator. It will definitely be disastrous. So when you start your journey, that is when you need to be at your sharpest. And probably after a few years, maybe you can take it a little easy, but in the beginning, definitely there is no way.
I strongly agree. So I will come back to my question. I took almost 4 to 5 years break from my content creation journey. Everyone knows this, and then I just came back to content creator, and I know that there are huge competition in content creation as well. That everyone is a content creator. So when we talk about the influencers or these creators, they are huge audience are following like millions, but even we see their insights that they're not lying, number are not lying, that they are actually having these millions of followers or active followers who are engaging with them. But when we talk about influencer marketing as a business, and we go for some collaboration with these guys, how to just make sure that it will be helpful for us, because the huge number of following they have, the huge price they will be charging us for the collaborations. So how to just find out, or how to just select few of influencers while we are going for the influencer marketing or spending money there, because we are on budget, especially when you are your initial years of business, especially starting 5 to 7 years. You need to be really really careful about your budget, that okay, this is ads budget, this is my organic marketing budget, this is my influencer marketing budget. So you just can't spend your all budget only on influencer, and then you're not getting the results. So how to make sure that you will be getting the results for your investment on influencers, or how to just choose the right influencers?
So that is again of something of a new challenge which is coming up, and obviously it is looking at the conversions that the influencers has had in the past, whether it has worked well in your industry, and if there are some stats to work with. Obviously, using third-party tools to see how much conversions they are bringing in. And I guess the best strategy would be to look at an influencer like an advertising channel and comparing that. So influencer A would compare with Facebook, and influencer B would compare with TikTok. So you would plot all of that and see which channel is bringing the highest click through rates, the highest number of leads, and highest number of conversions. And this is why I keep going back to analytics, which is not very fascinating for many of us, but we all have to go back to analytics to really get our numbers right. And this is like the accounting department of any company. It's the least interesting part of a company. No one wants to, meet the accountant of a company because they are very boring people. They're looking at numbers and so forth. But the moment you need your check, your pay, your increment, that is the person you're going to go after. So they become very important when you need the monies. In fact, more important than the CEO. So this is precisely what's happening in marketing. Lot of social media, creativity, influences all look very interesting, but the end of the day, you will have to go back to analytics and look at the numbers and see whether it is making sense. So if it's not really making sense, then you will have to take a difficult decision to go with the highest converting channels. And most of the time, that happens to be big, broad platforms like Facebook and TikTok and Google. So it's very difficult to compete with these large channels because they have more traffic than they know what to do with. So if you can fine tune all of that traffic and convert into leads, you will have ample business.
Yes, I can't deny the importance of the Meta Google, but I have a question. Like when we are choosing influencer, because we can't, mean that's not less important. That's also important to collab with your some relevant influencers. If you have a business or your client has business of clothing, so you must need influencers of vloggers or lifestyle creators. So now when you just see their number, they have huge following. You go to their insights, they will share, and you can get insights from third party tools as well. There are many. You will see that yes, they are having engagement, they are real followers, they are real everything. But still now, before paying them, before, because until they will make the post, or until you will see the conversion, the people coming from them who actually make the purchase for you or for your client, before that you need to take this decision that okay, if I am going to work with this number of, or these guys who are influencers or not. So how to make this decision, like while you are paying, while you are actually having an influencer on board.
Yeah, so as I said, you're not going to take that decision from your side. You're going to look at their earlier decisions and see if it makes sense. So, if this influencer has been hired in the past, you would have an approx value of their CPCs and the value of their conversions. So, you're looking at that data and trying to compare it with your own product and see if it makes sense. So the best thing that I can give you in this thing is you shouldn't be making any decisions on your own. You should always make decisions based on past data. So I'm very active in investing in the stock market. And the one thing that I avoid is the IPOs, and that is because there's no data to work with. Although some people they're fascinated, there are entire industries built around IPOs, and I have nothing against IPOs, but I personally stay away from that because there's no data to work with. Rather, a company which has been doing business like 25 years has got so much data accumulated. You can sit down and analyze what they have done in the past, and you can make a decision. In an IPO, although that company has history, it doesn't have a history in the stock market itself. So that is you're working with data which doesn't exist. Probably there are entire industries built around the IPOs, and I have nothing against it, but this is my personal view. So same thing in influencers. You would look at influencers who have some kind of past data to work with, and you would look at the decisions other brands made on that influencer and see if it made sense for them or if it was profitable for them, and then you would make a call on that.
Okay, great. That's a really good advice. Thank you so much. Okay, now I will ask another personal question, and I think that the only Kishore is the best person to answer. And I know that this is a pain point of everyone in our field. That after AI, there are few things or few job titles or few challenges we all are facing. Like first thing first, that content writers, they don't have any good future we see, or we are just realizing now, because these AI tools can write really good content than the previous writers. And then the another field which is getting hit, and why I'm saying that Kishore is the best person to answer, and that's SEO. Previously, SEO was different, but now recently, after AI, now we have to change our SEO practices. And I can say that previously, in back in 2010, there were totally different strategies came, and now in 2025 recently we saw a huge change in SEO. Now, Kishore, as you are a SEO company already, and your main service is SEO actually. So, how you guys shifted to the new SEO trends, and what are the new SEO trends, or how to keep your client sites ranked higher, or how to do modifications in the previous SEO practices, or what are your advice to the guys who are into SEO fields now, or the just trying to join the SEO field now, or what you will say that now SEO status is? Yes, please.
Yeah, sure. So from agencies' point of view and from people who are involved in the digital space, they feel that a lot of changes have happened. But at the same time, that we have to understand that the customer is not us. So the customer is not an SEO agency. The customer is running probably a restaurant, and their
Yeah.
biggest problem is that they don't have good meat, for example, for their
Yeah.
restaurant tonight, or they have that, it's nearing expiry date. So they have a lot of challenges going on. It's the same in every business. Logistics have their problems, shipping has got tariff problems. They have so much things going on. So digital marketing, website or SEO is not, they don't
Their
they
headache.
don't get up in the morning and say that we have a problem with our SEO. They have a problem with their own industry. So we
Yes.
are just a small part of the entire puzzle. And since they don't have time to think about this part of the puzzle, it's our duty to think on their behalf. Yes, definitely the SEO industry is changing, but the competition is existing. The competition is not going away. So all the brands which were competing on Google and Bing and Yahoo are also competing on other channels, which means that if you are a company which has got hundreds or thousands of competition, it's not practical for you to sit down and do SEO or GEO or somehow make your brand available on all the places that customers are searching for. So that is where a team, an agency becomes relevant to understand what is happening now and how they should be appearing on search engines, on LLMs, and other platforms where people are actively engaged. So the entire industry has changed, but it is still very, very relevant. And it is exciting because things are moving so fast. People who are fascinated by change will always win, who are curious will always figure it out. So there is huge opportunity for small players, small companies to outdo their larger competitors, and I guess it's a great time to operate.
They don't need to understand the SEO things for now. But still, people like you, people like us, or people who are into SEO, what are the things they quickly need to shift, like before they are too late? So, what are the new trends of SEO and how to adopt them, and what are the things that no longer we will take into the next years, or we just need to drop just now here? So, what are the practices which are outdated now, and we should stop learning them, or we should stop having them in future clients? So, what do you suggest about them?
So the way to look at it is that people really never figured out how SEO operates even in the past. So although you have a lot of SEO agencies, many agencies or many in-house agencies never figured it out because it was a lot of complex processes, which happens wherein you have to rank on Google, and Google kept changing. And now with the AI part, there is one more challenge which
Yes.
has happened. So not many people are willing to figure it out or have the patience to figure it out. So for people who are curious, it is always very easy to do that. And it would go back to two things. Number one, to the customer, who is actually whom you are trying to appeal to and attract, and seeing what they are up to, and is there any change in the way they are searching, in the way they are hanging out on online spaces, and what are they doing. And the analytics tools these days, besides Google Analytics, there are other analytics tools which are able to figure out where your traffic is coming from. Are they coming from search engines? Are they coming from LLMs? Or are they coming from Gen AI tools? They're able to figure all of that out. And then you would look at what they're doing on your website, and how much time they're spending on your website pages and what they are trying to achieve. If you can figure that out, you can reverse engineer all of this and make your brand very attractive to your customer. So I don't think there is a whole lot of knowledge required to do that. It's just a matter of application. And as I said, I've never come across a company which has a kitchen that is as big as its sales team. So I worked with some of the largest agencies in town, and the front office and the reception and the sales team will always be huge, and the kitchen will always be small. So you are essentially not competing with a large company. Even if you're a small company, you're only competing with a small kitchen of a large company. So this competition is not as big as as we all think it is.
Yeah. No, but for my own understanding, like for example, I will share my knowledge and then you can correct me because you are a guru in this field. So, yes, you can just actually correct me if I'm wrong. So, if I talk about the SEO history or my learning history of SEO, that was previously before 2010. If you are a company and you are just producing content, that's enough. So you're a writer or you have writer in your team, that's enough. And then there was trends after 2010 that if you are writing SEO friendly content, SEO friendly content means that your main target is search engines, Google. Like, so you are adding keywords based articles. So if Google is showing your content, so you are king, means you just crack the code. And then there was time when actually not the Google or search engines, it was your readers. If they are happy, if they are spending time, if your writing is engaging, and okay, Google is really important, but not, it's secondary. The primary was your reader. So if reader is coming there and spending more time on your website or on your article, if article needs 2 minutes and they are spending 2 minutes, that's something acceptable. And then there was a trend when we saw that interest based. Now we need to just go to the different platforms to bring the relevant audience to like tell them that we exist to come and read here, we are creating content for you. That was that time as well. So the before 2025, like until 2024, if I talk, so the best SEO company are the guys who were actually not spamming the system, but they were trying to do everything with their own pace, not like really fast or not really like this, because there was time long ago when links matter. So if you are having more links, so you will rank higher. But then there was time when links were no longer or the number of links were no longer important, but the quality of links were important. So someone has five quality links and the other guy has 10,000 low quality links, so the five quality links guy will actually rank. So there were many SEO ranking factors we were following as SEO expert, but now things changed. People are not using Google or search engine for search, they are using ChatGPT for answers. For every single thing they are just using ChatGPT, Gemini. So how to rank a website or how to just correct our direction as SEO experts or as the service providers are the guys who are actually still choosing this digital marketing field and they're trying to learn. So how they should try to learn the system that was next. Yeah, this is true that they are not going to drop all the old strategies and they are not going to adopt all the new strategies, but what are the new important strategies to learn or adopt as soon as possible?
Yeah, so the thinking that people are not using search engines and everyone is on ChatGPT is actually a myth. If you look at stats,
Perplexity, ChatGPT,
yeah,
Gemini.
so
Yeah.
that is actually a myth. So there are companies which are tracking all of this, and the traffic coming from search engines are 10 times more than what is coming from Gen AI tools. So definitely the traffic is huge and it's in billions. And probably in future things might change, but right now it is 10 times on Google and one time on all the other LLM tools. So that is numbers wise. And now coming back to relevance, every brand has got a certain score which is associated with your brand. So if you're an insurance company, you're in a very red ocean, meaning it's very, very difficult to rank for a keyword like best car insurance, Dubai. That is very, very difficult. If you're a new car insurance company and you want to rank for that keyword on Google or on ChatGPT or Perplexity or any tool, it's going to be very, very difficult. And that is because your industry is saturated. So, first thing to understand is that everything is based on your industry and your competition and your customers. So, if we take stock of what industry we are operating in, the strategy would change accordingly. And end of the day, everything comes back to the customer. So if the customer has a problem and your brand can solve that problem, and you can do that using great content through backlinks, through relevance in LLMs, then obviously you are going to pop up in all the search engines as well as the Gen AI engines, and that is going to make you very, very relevant. So a blanket approach, I guess, is not a good idea. It would be better to look at it industry wise and then looking at your closest competition and then coming to a conclusion. I know of brands which are operating in very specific industries like uh, cold cold room temperature manufacturing, and those guys are making a lot of money from SEO simply because they don't have any competition in town. Whatever they write will rank for all the keywords because they don't have a competition two or three, and no one is aware of their industry. So these guys are ranking for hundreds and thousands of keywords because every day we are posting article and they rank immediately within 24 hours, and that is the perfect situation to be in to find a business which can make you a lot of money and which doesn't have much competition. So I guess if someone is starting out, the best strategy would be to find something which has got very high profit margins, which has got very little competition. And if you start that business, all your marketing challenges will go away. You'll rank number one on Google, you'll rank number one on ChatGPT. You will be there, in front of all the engines. So I guess that is a hack which many of you can use.
That's amazing. So before we end this podcast, I have one last question: that job or business?
Oh, obviously business.
Thank you so much for watching this podcast. I tried to make it as informative and helpful for you guys as it was for me. And if you still have any questions, you can just write in comments. And me, Arkishore, we will be replying you. And if you want another podcast where you have the new level of questions, you can tell us, and we can just try to record another podcast for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. See you next episode. Thank you so much, Kishore.
Bye.
Bye.